We're live. We're good. We're on. Yay! What are we? Oh gosh, we're like 3 minutes late, but we're here. Thank you for joining us for another weekly SilviaFindings live stream. Today we're going to continue cataloging the earring findings. There'll be some posts, some dangles, some cool things, some boring but necessary things, you know, regular studs. I don't know, I think they're not boring, but you know what I mean, less exciting than some crazy things like, I don't know. You remember these from last week, those lovely owls? Ooh, they're crazy. That's not going to focus, but that's okay. We have some crazy blingy things too, which are always awesome. Anyway, thanks for joining us. My name is Mark. I'll be your cataloging presenter today. Couple of housekeeping things before we get started. Of course, if you share this video, again, okay, up to you. But we'll send you one of these little polishing cloths, these lovely, indispensable polishing cloths that everyone should have. You know, you probably already have one. I dropped that. I dropped an owl. I don't know if you know about those polishing cloths, right? These things, like, you know, you get them, they're nice and beautiful, pristine, clean things. And then as you use them, they get more and more, you know, dirty, right? Things. Don't wash them. I know, you're thinking, what? I've seen people wash them, you know, thinking that, oh, it's way prettier when it's not dirty. The thing is that these are infused with a chemical agent that unbinds the copper and the oxygen, and helps, you know, remove the tarnish from your pieces. Because tarnish isn't dirt, right? Tarnish is a chemical reaction between the metal and oxygen, usually oxygen. Sterling silver, we all know, is 92.5% silver. Usually most of that rest of the 7.5% is copper. Copper loves oxygen. Oxygen binds with copper very easily. If you ever did any kind of jewelry fabrication, you know that if you put a torch on a piece of silver, it turns completely black, right? Because whenever you add heat to a chemical reaction, normally it accelerates, it makes it go faster. So that's why, you know, when you're soldering with sterling silver, you need to have flux, which is another chemical agent that makes a more attractive place for the oxygen to go to than the copper, so it keeps the area free of that cupric oxide that stops it. Anyway, no need to get technical. Just so you know, don't wash these things. Just keep using them until they're completely, you know, black, and then toss it and buy a new one. You know, they're only a couple dollars. And if you share the video, we'll send you one free. So win-win. Couple of other notes. Custom work. Oh my gosh, we're doing so many custom orders lately. It's crazy. I love it. It's so cool. People just have some crazy ideas. And, you know, if it's a crazy idea but you love it, then it's gorgeous. It's beautiful, right? Some of the craziest things I've seen are ultimately the most beautiful things, you know. You never really understand what somebody has in their mind until you see it all done with a stone in it, and then it's, wow, that's gorgeous. So, you know, keep keep your ideas coming, keep your custom orders coming. If you have any, you have some stones that you want, but or there's a pendant or a ring that we carry that you like, okay, but it doesn't fit your stone, or you'd like it a little bit different, or oh gee, I wish I had this aspect of that component on this thing, or something just totally out of your head. I want a ring that's a skull with two gemstones for the eye sockets, or the two settings for the eye sockets. We can do it. We have done it. So whatever works. We had one that was just, it was a ring, just a plain sterling band, but it was a naked woman, reclining with her hair all flowing around the ring. It was gorgeous, but obviously not the kind of thing that we have, because there was no stones in it or anything, but it was a custom job, and the customer loved it. It all worked out. We can make anything. So long as within the bounds of pesky things like budgets or physics. Obviously the size of the flasks that we use limit how big you can make something. We wouldn't be able to make you custom armor or anything like that. Although, boy, that would be fun. Actually, now that I'm thinking of it. I'm sure we could find a sandcaster somewhere that could make big ass pieces of armor, but that would be fun. Anyway, neither here nor there. Shipping is, boy, it's getting good. It's getting good out there. The world is I know that, there's dolphins in Venice Marina and stuff, but, shipping infrastructure getting better is maybe a better indication that the planet is healing. Oh God, I'm gonna get so much crap for that. Yeah, we just had a shipment reach the Netherlands in 12 days. 12 days. I can't even ship something from here to Quebec in 12 days. I have shipped something from here to Quebec that took 12 days. And that's just within the same country. I think we was just looking this morning. We had a shipment that we sent from here to Georgia, which is practically as far away from us and still stay on the same continent. The only way it would be further is if we shipped it to Florida, right? So, all the way down to the southeast of the United States, from here on the west coast of Canada, British Columbia, it took 4 days. That's just regular mail, not express, not, just a regular first-class mail. So America's infrastructure, as far as the postal service is concerned, is not awful these days. We'll see what happens. So we're liking it. It's all good. I still have issues with French Post. They're worst. The worst. It's neck and neck between French Post and Canada Post. Royal Mail in UK is also not wonderful, but they're not as bad as French Post or Canada Post. But enough of me belly aching about the relative postal services around the country. Just as a informational thing, as we're going through these items, some of these, we have these in little containers, in trays, right, that we have in the showroom. Some of the items, like posts, like these are posts. I don't know if you can see that, right? So these are posts. Obviously the container is not deep enough for the post to continue all the way out the back of the thing. So when we put them in these display containers, we bend the post around the back of the display container, sort of thing. So so they look, like this, right? But don't worry, when we send you the actual items, they won't look like that. They'll be nice and straight. These are just for the display samples. So I don't know. You could look at it on the bright side that clearly, you know, they're made well enough that we can make a 90-degree bend, almost 90-degree bend in one of the things without the post breaking off, right? So you know they're soldered correctly. Anyway, what else? I think that's it, right? Yeah. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, yeah, you can contact us either here or you know, any email address. You know, on the website we have that chat thing. That's us. That's not an answering service or a bot or anything. That's actually us who answers those things, either myself or Nelson or Marble. We'll answer those questions that you ask on the website. If it's a jewelry related question, doesn't even have to be just setting, could be, you know, fabrication. I'm having trouble with copper solder, you know, like you'd think that would have nothing to do with us. But we're here, you know, we're a resource. You know, we have, between all of us, we have, God, more than 50 years, 60 years of experience in the jewelry industry. I've been teaching jewelry fabrication for 30 years, more, yeah, 25, I think, or it was 25 when I closed my jewelry school. So yeah, probably by now it's almost 30. Although we don't do regular classes here, it's just a thing. I feel like I'm teaching when people ask me a question and I'm explaining, you know, stuff sort of thing in a way that makes them understand it. Anyway, enough jibber jabber, as they say. We're going to move right on and start with the earring post. Let me just move this, switch this around. Doink. Our first item are those that I pulled out of the thing. They're just a beautiful oval you know, earring post for 10 by 12 millimeter. Oh no, mounting size 9 by 11. What did I say, 10 by 12? Maybe that's the size of the whole piece. It's always confusing. Anyway, EW 539 with a retail price of $16.65 and a wholesale price of $11.58. Right. Nice simple basket, pretty shallow basket, so just be careful if you have a pavilion that's a really super deep pavilion. You might not be able to get it in there. Cabs will fit beautifully in here, which is ostensibly what they're designed for, even though we have that hybrid seat and the prongs flat on the inside, rounded on the outside. So those are again designed for cabochons, and they're just lovely piece. Our next item, EW or ES 210 for a 4 by 6 millimeter oval stone. 1082 is a retail price, 676 is a wholesale price, and just a couple of things. All of these earrings, ear wires, things, the prices are by the pair, right? So, you know, if it's used by the pair, it's sold by the pair, right? So this is just a regular old classic standard oval earring post, right? Can't go wrong. Pretty standard. Here's a similar kind of thing, but as a dangle. EW 726 for an 8 by 10 or 10 by 8 millimeter oval stone. $15.60 a pair is the retail price, and $9.75 a pair is a wholesale price. Again, this is just a regular old ear wire, right, with a standard oval basket, right? It's got that hybrid seat there with that beveled edges, so cut stones, cabochons, anything you want to put in there will work. Generally, earrings like this don't sit against your neck or, you know, the back of your neck. So if they have a really deep pavilion and the Q-lid extends out the back of that thing, it's not like this is going to scratch on you and make you cranky or anything, right? So that's that. Here's another post earring. ES 215 for 8 by 10 millimeter oval. $15.39 a pair is the retail price. $9.62 is the wholesale price. And just regular standard basket. I mean, that's what we call that. That's our standard basket. Obviously, ours are better than most. A lot of times you'll just see kind of flimsy pieces with no support base pieces. And they're just not as strong. You know, this, when you're holding this in a ring clamp or however you're holding this on the back, I have a rubber block that I use an awl to poke a hole into, and then I could just push this all the way into that hole so that the bottom of the basket is flush with the rubber block, and then I could put the stone in there and set the stone easily, you know, without worrying about bending the post. But you know, when you do that with some of the flimsier ones, sometimes when you're pushing these prongs in, you know, everything kind of distends, becomes you know, warped. They can get crushed. These are just much sturdier. ES214 with a retail price of $10.82, wholesale price of $6.76 a pair. This is for a 7x9 millimeter oval. Cabochon, right? This is like the bare bones. The only thing you'll see is the cab and the little prongs. You know, they go up the side of it. You know, these are great for you know, special cabs like I don't know, ammonites, or I don't know, it could be anything really. Just very simple, very elegant. That's like, you know, I don't want to see any part of the earring. I just want to see my stones. That's what that is. Here's another dangle. God, these are not in any kind of order. Sorry. EW729 with a retail price of $17.26 and a wholesale price of $10.79. This is for a 9x11 millimeter oval. Right? That same beautiful basket. That the design of which I think is as good as it gets as far as basket settings go. Just dangling from the things, right? We have the identical setting with this, with a little fancy bail on the top as a pendant. But these are already done with ear wires. Obviously, there's no bail on them. Here's a... I can maybe just leave those in here. Here's post earrings, ES253 with a retail price of $19.24 and a wholesale price of $12.03 for a 7x10 millimeter oval. You'd have to use a cab in this. This is for cabochons, obviously, that you would have to glue in using a good 2-part epoxy. The kind that dries clear, right? Those are the kind we recommend for that. Or there is a product out there that I've seen, they call it pearl cement. I don't know the brand name, but I've seen it. It's in a little white tube, and it's just a one thing. You don't have to mix it or anything. It's just a 1-part cement. That also works pretty good. But I always recommend the 2-part epoxies. I find they're way stronger and they last better. Again, get the kind that dries clear, right? There's good ones like Bondo or that kind of thing that dry gray or ugly stuff. You don't want those. So this is just lovely kind of segmented things, almost like... I was going to say bones, but that's kind of morbid. Like bamboo. Let's call it. It's so cute. It's like bamboo frame around that, right? Bones. Oh my God, Mark. What a salesman. ES182 with a retail price of $16.65 a pair and a wholesale price of $13.33 a pair. This is for a 5x7 millimeter oval. This again, another post. These ones actually come with bags, which is not common. Normally they don't come with bags, but these do. Again, 5x7 cabochon. You'd have to use a cab on that. I can maybe some gemstones, some cut stones might fit. The bezel wall is theoretically pushable onto the stone. I don't know. I would use a cab and glue it in there, but I'll be honest, I've never actually tried pushing those walls over, but they're not super thick. Maybe a millimeter at the most. So it'd be like pushing an 18 gauge prong, you know, which is thicker, but not crazy thick, you know, as long as you didn't have to push it very much. Anyway, I just love this kind of scalloped edges, right? With that granulation around the outside edge. Very cute. Very summer. I don't know. It feels like summer to me. Like it's a daisy. Dandelion. ES236 with a retail price of $14.56 and a wholesale price of $9.10. This is for an 8 by 10 millimeter oval cabochon, right? This is bent onto the, again, the prongs are bent onto the display thing. But you can see it's just a halo, a nice silver halo around the outside of a regular old frame. Put a cabochon on there. The prongs are pretty good size, but not super tall. Yeah, those for cabs. And they're lovely. I love how that, so this obviously would look like, you know, a silver frame around the outside of your stone, which I quite like how that looks. Then we have a bunch of the, I'm going to try to find all of these things in this tray. These are just very simple, will that one come out? Yeah. These come with the earring backs, you know, which is neat, which is cool. It's just a simple bezel frame. These are way too thick to fold over your stone, so you're going to have to glue the stone in there, right? You glue your cabochon in there using a good two-part epoxy, and this just creates, you know, I love it, just a single little border, silver border around the outside edge of your piece. Again, this one is for 6 by 8, and we have the same thing for 4.5 by 6.5. This is probably meant to be 5 by 7, but they shrunk a little more than usual in the casting. So, and then we've got this also for 4 by 6 ES 180 with a retail price of $16.03 and a wholesale price of $12.83. Right, that same thing. And then we have, where is it? I'll just grab the next one. This is probably not in order. ES 267 for 7 by 9 millimeter oval. $11.28 is the retail price and $7.06 is the wholesale price. Again, that same thing, or 7 by 9. And then we've got, I think this is the biggest one. No. Then we've got a 0.5 millimeter bigger, 7.5 by 9.5. ES 268 for retail price of $11.70, wholesale price of $7.31. Right, that same thing. And this one is a little bigger, 8 by 10, ES 235 for retail prices $14.56 and a wholesale price is $9.10. And it's just that same lovely post. Now, I know that I have more of these that will come up a little bit later, but they're in a different tray. Not sure why they're not all together, but we'll get there. Our next thing, I've got some dangles, some oval dangles. EW724 for a 5 by 7 millimeter stone. $14.31 is a retail price. $8.94 is a wholesale price. Again, just standard basket, right, with a pair of earrings, right? And this one and the next two sizes up, these ones and these ones, right? I think 6 by 8 is that? 9 or 7x9. These three are probably our best-selling earring findings. You know, they're very simple, they're very elegant, but they're dangles. Some people don't like posts. Some people, you know, want to have a dangle. You know, and the nice thing about this is that you could put a cab in here, you could put a cut stone in here. A cut stone is great because, you know, as a dangle, there's a lot of movement around. So if it's a blingy stone, you're going to get a lot of sparkle in that because it's always moving and refracting light in every direction. So there's definitely eye-catching. The 6x8 version of this is $15 a pair as a retail price and $9.37 as a wholesale price. That's EW 725. The 7x9 millimeter version of this, EW 727, is $15.60 retail and $9.75 is a wholesale price, right? After that. And okay, moving right along, we've got another, oh, that's a round. I thought we were doing ovals today. So here's a round post, just a basket post. This is a pretty deep basket though. So boy, I think you could get a lot of cut stones in there, unless it's a ridiculously big pavilion. But I would say 95% of round cut stones you could definitely put in there, which is awesome, which is what you want, you know, for that kind of thing. If you've got a nice, you know, moissanite or something, or if you have an 8mm moissanite, it's getting spendy. Probably not 8mm diamond, you know, although why not? You know, if you got something. 8mm round gemstones, I think, fit beautifully in here, and they look great in there, just as a post. Definitely elegant. You know, the tiny ones, the 3mm, 4mm, are great to wear daily kind of thing. But if you're going out on the town, or if you just want to impress somebody, boy, nice, big, fat 8mm gemstone in that thing looks gorgeous. Here's an interesting pair, right? It's a dangle, right? And the post, which has a earring back on it, is just kind of like an inverted teardrop, right, with the dangle. And then it's got this setting, which is kind of like an oval or a teardrop. So I don't want to use the word pear because that confuses it for the shape of the stone. This is for an oval stone. So it's a teardrop kind of frame, halo around that thing. And it's a nice big elongated oval, right? So what is that? We're looking at 4x10, 4mm wide by 10mm long oval. That's ES 151. Retail price is $24.05 and wholesale price is $15.03. This kind of thing is kind of like a, you know, a lapidary, you know, special. If you're a lapidarist and you're cutting your own stones, you know, you can cut them in that shape. Not the kind of shape you'll find traditionally on sale, you know, most places, but you never know. Who's to say? Here's so I have a complicated history with these kind of settings. They call them snap-ins or snap-ons. This is for a 7mm round stone, ES 232, with a retail price of $10.82 and a wholesale price of $6.76. They work great. They're very easy to set the stones in there because you literally, you know, put the pavilion up or inside there and you push down. You know, the shape of the pavilion will pull it open, and then as soon as it hits the girdle, it'll snap closed, theoretically. And they're you know, they're very cool shape, you know, so it's, you know, I love that sort of thing. But I do recommend tweaking them closed with the pliers after you're done, just to be sure. You know, the name, and there are other brands, you know, Snap Lock, Snap Tight, whatever you call them. They're a little bit thinner than these. These are quite a bit thicker. So I find them much sturdier. They have a little more spring to them. But again, you know, silver is a pretty soft metal. And yeah, so give them a tweak when you're done pushing them in here. These earrings are, it's just a lever back, not a lever back, but a thing. Why is the word escaping me, right? So just a snap-on, post sort of thing. Not super tight, so you're not going to get a headache after wearing them for 10 minutes or an earache. It's got that kind of a little bit less thick version of those snap-on earring posts. EW093 for, that's the dimensions of the whole thing. I don't know how big that is. We'll say that's for a 6mm stone. I think that's what it looks like off the top of my head. Retail price $780, wholesale price is $507, and of course they come by the pair for a pair of snap-on earrings. Snap-on earring, snap-in settings. Totally missed the boat. I should have called them snap-on snap-ins. Let me get this open because I want to pull this out. ES184. This is for a 5x7mm oval stone. Retail price $1665. Wholesale price $1333. This is another simple silver frame around that 5x7mm oval cabochon seat or cut stone. You can put a cut stone in there, definitely. Right, very simple, very elegant. These have backs with them. Can't go wrong. We have quite a few of that series, I guess, that thing where it's just a simple silver frame, like those in ovals and rounds. Now, randomly, there's just this pair of ear wires that are also in this tray. Now, they definitely deserve a place of their own, separate from all the other boring ear wires, because these are just like, wow, right? Nice big ear wires with these baguettes, set in the front. Just plain old ring there. And that's just a standard 22 or 21 gauge ear, not 22, it's definitely a 21 gauge ear wire. And, right, you can't go wrong with those stones set in there. That's something, if you're making those nice, long, dangly earrings, feather dusters or shoulder dusters, whatever they call them, that's what you want. A nice big, blingy earring. So this is the EW522 with a retail price of $21.40 and a wholesale price of $13.43 a pair. And 33 millimeters tall, I guess, from here to there, right? So just beware. Okay, we're moving on. A little different tray. Now we've got some oval, and these are also not really in any kind of order. Just oval posts, regular old basket setting, right? Doink, doink, doink. Again, I know they get kind of bent in the display things. Don't worry, the ones we send you won't be bent. ES273 for a 3x5mm oval. Retail price is $6.41 and the wholesale price is $4 a pair. And these do not come with backs, so beware. And here's a identical thing with a little bit bigger stone, or a 5x7mm or 7x5, whatever way you say it. There's no real convention. ES211 with a retail price of $11.65 and a wholesale price of $7.28. Now this one is a little different thing. This is definitely for a cabochon. Obviously, you couldn't put a cut stone in there, but you'd want it to be pretty close to the dimensions of this thing, so that just this framing on the top and the bottom holds it in, gives it a very I don't know, it just kind of looks very cool, very simple, very plain thing. You know, it's pretty thick though, so you know, substantial. They're not going to feel flimsy when you're wearing them. ES 156 for a 10 by 14 millimeter oval cabochon. Retail price is $29.41 and a wholesale price of $18.38. Now we've got a couple more of these that are in here for some reason, not really in order. Let me see if I can get these. What is it? 8.5 by 10.5. 9.5 by 11.5, 10 by 14, and I think this is the biggest one that we have, 13 by 18, right? So the 13 by 18 one, again, you're just going to glue your stone in there. Now theoretically, I think the bezel wall on some of these are small enough that you might be able to push them over onto the stone, though I still recommend just gluing them in. ES 207 for 13 by 18 stones, retail price of $18.02 and a wholesale price of $12.01, right? And the next size down, 10 by 14 version of that, ES 205 for $13.52 is a retail price and $8.45 is the wholesale price. And then these two ones that come in between, 8.5. We had some other 8 by 10s and 10 by 12s on the other tray. So these are kind of the in-between sizes, right? 0.5 millimeter sizes. I think, oh look, it actually has the sizes stamped on the inside of that thing. That's new. Don't remember seeing that before. And then we have a couple of other versions of those kinds of things, a little more decorative. These ones have that kind of a rope pattern around it. It's just like a twisty wire, like two wires twisted around each other. But it looks kind of like rope, right? Gives it a little different border. That one's for a 9 by 11 millimeter stone, ES 237. Retail price is $14.77 and the wholesale price is $9.23. These ones that have a little more, let me see if I can get these open. I don't know if you could see that, because it's kind of like a I don't know, sort of like a rococo, but not quite. Kind of like flourishes and ribbons kind of thing, you know, border around it. Just a little more delicate, I guess. Kind of interesting. This is for a 10 by 12 millimeter oval. ES, that's the size of the whole piece. And that's the mounting size, 10 by 12. ES 155 with a retail price of $21.85 and a wholesale price of $13.66. Now we have probably the culmination of that concept with a nice round or a nice wide halo border with those marcasites in there. I just love that. And the granulation on the outside of that. Right? So that's for a 7 by 9 millimeter oval cabochon. ES 252 is the SKU. Retail price $29.74. Wholesale price is $18.59 a pair. Right? I just love these marcasites. It's a little extra sparkle without being, you know, blingy over it like a cubic zirconia is. You know how it's really, really super blingy, shiny. These, yeah, quite like that. Anyway, our next item is another kind of like a mix between this one. See, the post broke right off. But there's the setting. It's a teardrop frame, right? Silver frame with that plain old oval basket setting. That is for 8 by 10 millimeter stone. cabochon or a cut stone. You can put anything in there, really, because the post is, you know, behind, you know, the top of the frame there, or the top of the seat, not the top of the frame, that teardrop. ES 251 with a retail price of $16.85 and a wholesale price of $10.53. We've got this, which is, I don't know, also another one of, God, we sell tons of these because they're so cool, right? It's just a plain old basket for an 8x10 millimeter. Maybe that's why, because 8x10 is such a common size. EW 728 with a retail price of $20.80 and a wholesale price of $13. It's just a simple basket frame that you can use for a cut stone or a cabochon. You can put whatever you want in there. It's got some good sized prongs, and there's just that little kind of wave swirl component in between the setting and the ear wire. Right. I just love that. EW 599 for a 9x13 millimeter oval cabochon, with a retail price of $21.71 and a wholesale price of $13.57. This one has, it's kind of cool how this works. Let me just pull this out. Right, so the cab would go inside there. I would lift these and these a little bit, right, to get your cab in there. You glue the cab against that frame, right? Anytime you see those dots, you know that's for gluing. And then once your stone, you know, is once you put your stone in there to glue the thing, you could push this down onto the stone and that down onto the stone. And then from the front, it'll look like it's just held in, you know, by those two pieces, but of course it's glued in, right? Just very, very cool. And you can modify, you know, the bottom the bottom tab for sure, and the top one a little bit, but you know, depending on the curvature of your cab, you may have to make some weird choices, angles, things, but very cool. And here's one, EW 650 for a 9x13, I guess. Okay. Retail price $34.67 and a wholesale price of $21.67. And these, again, it's that same post with that, it's not really a teardrop. This one is more of an oval ending on your post with this little dangle and this big cup thing. With that texture inside, that I guess you would want to glue a stone in there, right? Or it feels like this wants to have a post in there and solder a pearl or glue a pearl in there. But I guess it would be less oval that way, right? So that's definitely something that you glue. Oh, you know what would be cool is if you, because these are pretty deep, right? I don't know if you see how deep that is, right? You can mix up some clear two-part epoxy and, you know, put some things in there, you know? So I don't know, some little, you know, wacky gemstones, some little found objects. Have them suspended in that, a little pool of two-part epoxy, that epoxy resin. ES 299 for a 6x8 millimeter oval. This is for a $26.65 is the retail price, $17.80 is the wholesale price. And these are just, again, another post with definitely Rococo images around, or components around the outside edge, and a halo of cubic zirconias around the outside of the frame, right? Again, these are posts. These definitely are the kind of thing that you'll be noticed. Super elegant, very cool. I just love those. I think I love them because they remind me of this little component here that's like a curlicue, you know, sort of thing. I call it a kidney bean. When I used to teach filigree, that was one of the first little components that you learned how to make. There's a couple of components that a lot of filigree is made from, and that's one of the staples. You know, you can make bunches of these little things and then arrange them around something in different directions. Whatever, love that. ES301 for a 6x8 millimeter oval. The $29.48 is the retail price. $19.66 is the wholesale price. And these are actually pretty new. These, I think, they're on the website now, but again, these are, the last time you saw us was at a gem show. These are new. These weren't ever available before, right? I just love this. So they're posts with that lovely sunburst, little cubic zirconias everywhere, right? Or maybe a sunburst or a snowflake. I don't know. It could be whatever, depending if you're hot or cold. There's for a 6x8 millimeter oval. I think quite like this. We have another 7x9 millimeter oval ES213 with a retail price of $13.83 and a wholesale price of $8.65. And just a regular post. Again, with that lovely basket. This really should be in the other tray with the other ones for, but who knows what happens? Things get confused. So here's another ES 296 for a 6x8 millimeter oval Cabochon. Yeah, they have to be a cab. $19.23 is your retail price. $12.82 a pair is your wholesale price. And again, just when I say 6x8, yeah. So your 6x8 cab goes in there. It's got some good sized prongs. You can get that in there. It's got that similar sort of framing device that similar kind of frame to these. Right now, there's like an outside halo, except this is in quatrefoil shape. That's a word you don't get to use very often, right? Quatrefoil. But have you ever seen this, 4 circle or 4 curved shapes? That's what it is. You can look it up if you don't believe me. Quatrefoil. You learn something new every day. If you learn nothing else, you learn that. EW663, $21.84 is the retail price and $13.65 is the wholesale price. Now, I'm not going to say those dimensions because those are the dimensions of the actual piece. These are actually meant to glue. It's like there's a cup and peg on the end of that. I don't know if you can see that, right? So you're going to glue a stone or a pearl or something on there. You've got these lovely dragonflies with the cubic zirconias in their wings. Dragonflies are so popular these days, aren't they? And I just love how these are kind of off-center thing, right? Probably when you wear them, they'll sit like that because of the weight distribution, how they're kind of centered. I just love those. Really super versatile. As long as you have something to drill a pearl or a stone. Here's another, just a plain kind of for ES250 is the SKU, retail price of $14.56 and a wholesale price of $9.10 for a 9x11 millimeter oval cabochon. And I kind of love these. We have a couple of rings like this and a couple of pendants like this. And every time I set something in one of these, I'm just blown away by how cool it looks after this bezel, funky. And these are like hearts, maybe, something, right? And we have some that are like, different bezel, like crown bezel and, different shapes that you push over onto the stone. It just looks so cool when it's actually pushed onto a stone. But again, those are posts. for a 9 by 11 millimeter oval. Getting close to the end. There's just a couple more to go. Here's a smaller version of that. What did I do with it? Of that quatrefoil. Right. We got these bigger ones. These are just the same thing, but a smaller version. Although this is for a 5 millimeter round cabochon, and it would have to be a cab. ES300 with a retail price of $12.92 and a wholesale price of $8.62. And again, lovely, just cute little posts for your 5 millimeter cab with that little quatrefoil shape around as a border around the outside of the seat. Right. And the last two I'm going to show you are kind of blingy. Oh God, I really should have opened these before the live stream. EW767 with a retail price of $26.61 and a wholesale price of $17.51 for a 5 by 7 millimeter oval cabochon or cut stone. You could definitely put a cut stone in here. It's got that hybrid seat. Prongs are not super tall, but they're perfect for most cabs. Definitely for any cut stone you want to put in there. We've got a row of cubic zirconias around one side of that sort of flourish border, and a cute little flowery dangle in the middle, right? And again, sometimes for some reason when you put an extra component between the ear wire and the setting, you get so much more movement, you know. And so if you put a cut stone in there, the amount of flash you'll get from all the facets definitely accentuates the stones a lot more than they would if it were just like a post or something. And so last week we ended with these crazy owl, right, with the earring posts, oops, with the lever backs, and I just love those. And so these came out of these. Originally we had these, and we thought, let's add more bling to it, because these just have the cubic zirconias in the eyeballs, and of course the 6 by 8 millimeter oval cab would be for the belly. EW639 with a retail price of $27.82 and a wholesale price of $22.26, right? And it's kind of a running joke. We have a couple of customers who come in here all the time looking for you know, earrings for their stones, and I keep trying to I keep offering these to the people, and they're always like, no, Mark, no. Like, come on, how can you say no to these? They're so cute. Bobby, you're absolutely right. They are so cute. I just love these. And that's it. That is it for today. Where are we? We're here. Oh. So that's it. Those are the latest two trays that we're going to do. And then we'll do I guess this was a 52nd episode. Crazy. Just crazy. Next week we'll do 2 more trays of earring findings. I'll try to spend a little time and arrange them so they're a little more cohesive flow of the styles and things in between them all, sort of thing. I'm leaning back like I'm a slacker. Yeah. And I think I got in under 60 minutes, which is kind of always the goal. They try to keep this under an hour. I don't know why you'd be watching this on YouTube or anything after the fact, you know, like, but maybe you want to see, you know, something, you know, specifically a specific piece that you've seen on the website. You've seen a 2D picture and you'd like to see what it looks like in real life, or maybe have some schmo give you some commentary about what they think would be the best thing that you know, fits in those kind of things, or how best to use them. That's always a good thing, I think. But as far as, you know, this kind of information goes, man, just call us or email us, or, you know, whatever. Reach us either make a comment here on the live stream when we're here, or chat us up. I think the messenger feature on Facebook, which I don't Facebook, so I don't know. I mean, personally, I don't Facebook. I have an account, but I had it years ago before I realized what Facebook really was. um, Not important to get into that right now, but anyway, my point is you can message us. The messenger function here on Facebook attached to the SilviaFindings account will deliver a message right to the same program that we use to do the chat on the website. So if you're on the website and you there's a chat bubble, chat with us here. When you enter your question there and it comes to us. That actually comes to us here. I think same as Facebook Messenger comes to us through that same program. I'm not sure how they're synced or whatever. But yeah, like I said earlier, that is us. It's not like we haven't contracted out to some answer call center in India who's answering our messages. If you're chatting with somebody on the website, that's either myself or Nelson or Marble. Thing. And if you have technical questions about anything jewelry related, I'm here. I have 30 years of experience in fabrication and teaching, which is kind of important, I find. Lots of people can make very cool things, but in order to be able to explain something really technical in a simple way for somebody who's never done it before to understand, the more experience you have doing that, the better, I think. And at this point, I don't think there's a jewelry fabrication or casting question that I've been asked that I had never been asked before. So there's the only dumb question is the one not asked. So on that very wise note, I will leave you all for this week. Again, my blah, blah, blah at the end ended up going over an hour. So whatever, too bad. We love you. We hope you take care of yourself, take care of the planet, take care of your mental health. It looks like shows are going to start up again, maybe end of the year. We're keeping our fingers crossed. September, October, maybe. I know the ones that normally happen in July are definitely not happening. The ones in August, we're still waiting to hear. I'm dubious about whether August is safe, but we'll see. We'll get there, right? Keep making stuff. Keep those creative juices flowing, and we will see you next week. All right, bye-bye. Finish.